It all began as an idea. Well, more of a dream, really. A dream in the mind of a young sophomore. That dream grew and developed until it found its place in the minds of two other friends. And together, the three of them brought their dream into reality and created Present Tense. Present Tense is a t-shirt production company specializing in original designs and custom orders. It began when three friends, Jake, Sam, and Jared, received a $1,000 loan from Jake's father in order to start their small business. By the end of the year, they were able to completely pay off the loan. However, Jared decided it was best to part ways with the company.
During that time, we did not pay ourselves at all, and Jared didn't like that, and that's reasonable, because working that hard on something, you should get paid for when we can pay ourselves. And Jared, he dropped out of the company and started his own little spin-off company. So he sells t-shirts on the sides. I really don't know how well he's doing. We don't talk about his company. It's not like there was a fallout or bad blood, it's just, why talk about shirt printing when you can talk about Super Smash Bros?
I am Ben Bergman. I am currently the third member of Present Tense. I wasn't always the third member of Present Tense. I took the spot of Jared Schaefer, a very dear friend of mine. And I run the technical operations, I guess, of the business. I handle a lot of the actual prep for screen printing. I make all the screens, that sort of thing. And then do a lot of the printing stuff with Sam and Jake. And yeah, that's sort of my job.
So my role for Present Tense includes a few different things. One of them is I handle the marketing that we do, and we don't do a lot of that, but that just includes handling the Facebook page, Twitter page, and certain things on the website, just to make sure that we have a presence online and that people, at least around Franklin, kind of know who we are. Another part of what I do is I create and maintain the Present Tense website, and that takes up a good bit of my job because we've gone through a lot of different website builders or website hosts as we've figured out which one is best for us in terms of cost and quality, things like that. So yeah, I've had to kind of remake it as we've gone on. So yeah, making the website is a pretty big part of what I do. I also handle all of the finances and taxes for Present Tense. So that basically just means paying sales tax quarterly as well as annual taxes, keeping track of what money we have and how much we can spend on certain things. And then finally, of course, all three of us work together whenever we're actually making the shirts for an order.
What do I do for Present Tense? I design things. It really depends on how complex the design is. Like if it's something, usually my own stuff, hey, there's my brother Nate. I'll draw it out first, trace over it in Sharpie, and then scan it so that I have a nice base plate to go off of when I start editing it in Photoshop. And then from there, usually that process is pretty meticulous. It takes me several hours to do a design just because if it's going on a shirt, I want it to be good.
The screen printing process. This is a surprisingly hard process to describe. Most people think it's, simpler than it is. I thought it was a lot simpler than it is. And it's surprisingly kind of, not archaic, but like you'd think there would be a faster way to make t-shirts in this day and age, but honestly, this is how almost all t-shirts are made. There's like sort of a new trend popping up called direct-to-garment printing that's like literally a printer for shirts, but this is how pretty much every t-shirt is made, is screen printing. Okay, so basically it all starts with the screen, which is basically just mesh pulled over a large frame. and it's pulled really taut, and there's different sizes of the mesh and that sort of thing, but you know, we don't have to go into that. So we start with the mesh, and then we coat the mesh with a photosensitive sort of coating, I guess, called emulsion. And the emulsion is sort of like, it's kind of like photography in a way that we have to expose it for a certain amount of time, and when we expose it, it hardens. And what we do is we print our design in all black on a transparency, so just our design is in black on there. Then we set the transparency down on the screen, and when we expose it, the areas under the ink don't get exposed, and therefore we can still wash them out with a hose, and everything else gets exposed and hardens. So we can wash out our design, and then we have basically an elaborate stencil that we've just made. And with this stencil, we can put it up in our rig, and the emulsion is resistant to our inks, so we can put our inks on it and it won't mess up the stencil. And then we put t-shirts on the platen, we put the screen down on the shirt, and we basically drag our ink across with a squeegee and print on it. And then the final step is we cure it, and you have to cure the ink to like 320 degrees Fahrenheit, around that heat temperature. So we used to use a heat gun, which was painstaking, and we upgraded a couple months ago to a flash dryer, which is really nice, and it makes it way faster. So yeah, and that's how we make shirts pretty much.
You throwing mops at me?
Yeah, I want that back. Hold on. So, Sam, why do we not do present tense at your house or mine?
So at my house and at Jake's house, we have, well, I have 3 younger brothers. Jake has, so at my house I have 3 younger brothers, and at Jake's house he has 4 younger brothers. So in addition to a lot of people moving around in the house, they tend to stay pretty crowded, and we do both have garages, but they stay pretty full. So when Ben joined the company, we talked about it, and especially since Ben's specific role has the most to do with the actual production of the shirts, we decided that it made the most sense to have it at his house. And he actually, even though we're in his garage, he has a younger brother too. His name is Nick, but as you may know, he is actually the mascot of Franklin High School. So, or he will be. He will become the mascot of Franklin High School. No, he is. He's already the mascot of Franklin High School, so we didn't really see that as an issue.
How did you get to become the mascot of Franklin High School?
I have absolutely no idea.
Can you alliterate a little more? Sorry. And by that I mean...
Ben?
What? I don't have glasses out.
Over the years, it's been almost 2 years since Present Tense first became a business, and over that time, the change has been all positive, and we've grown a lot in terms of the equipment that we have. I mean, we've gone from one screen and manually clamping it down onto the shirt to a nice 4-color screen printer and a flash dryer and a lot of other little things that we've bought along the way that make our job a lot easier and improve the quality of our t-shirts a lot as well. And kind of as a part of that, we've also learned a lot about tricks of the trade in really every area of the business. So for me, I've been working on the website. I've learned a lot about things to do and not do in terms of web design, about which companies or templates are best. And another thing that we've learned is tips and tricks about how to actually print t-shirts. So really every time we do an order, our t-shirts improve in quality, and it's a constant work in progress as we learn more about how best to screen print t-shirts.
Alright, the spatula is absolutely my new favorite tool, because before we had to use these chisels, which we had to scoop the ink out of the container with these chisels, and the ink would get all over the chisel and then it'd get all over your hands, and you couldn't control it, and you'd get ink literally everywhere. And the ink is very difficult to clean off because you can't clean it off with water, which is a pain, because it's a plastic based ink. So we had to have a different chisel for every ink color on top of that. And as we do more and more orders, we have a lot of different ink colors, so it's a real pain. Now we have this really nice steel chisel here, if you want to get a close-up of that. The Ateco number 1388, and it's the best new tool because this thing, we can scoop ink out and then it cleans off so easily. You just have to wipe it down with paper towels and it is the best. So, chisel time.
Yeah, let's get some tunes.
Yeah, I guess screen printing is kind of monotonous. I really enjoy it though, so I don't think it's that tedious. I kind of enjoy the work, but we definitely find ways to entertain ourselves still. We've got this radio which we keep out here all the time, and we plug in our iPhones and that sort of thing, and we really like to play music while we print and show each other new music that we found and that sort of thing. Jake is a very talented singer and dancer, so it's always a treat when we can hear Jake, you know, serenade us with one of his pieces or dance to some music that we put on. And that's always really, really nice. And then sometimes Jake will eat a lot of motts and we get to watch him do that, which is really exciting and just jaw-dropping, really. And then Jake and Sam and I all have a very similar sense of humor, so it's really fun for us to just joke around, and we like to come up with different, I don't know, scenarios and things and ideas that we could make videos out of and that sort of thing, and we just joke around and have fun. It's surprisingly really fun to print shirts and that stuff, so.
Did you have any mods while you were here?
I know. Where? Well, do you have any mods?
I'll go check.
You do.
Grab me one if we have some. Nah. Yes, Jake.
You can't have any then.
Yeah. Nah.
Documentary.
You only have 2 mods left.
Oh no.
Alright, well, this one's reserved for me, and then we're gonna have to fight it out for this last one.
Alright. Yeah, well, we haven't tested this one yet, so we're testing this.
Okay.
Wait, are we going to the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the second mods?
Is it? I'm proud that Jake, you know, is a proprietor of my Mott's business that I run here. It's not really a business. I just give Jake a lot of Mott's every time he comes over. This all sort of stemmed from one time when, I don't know how, but somehow my mom acquired like a bulk order of applesauce, like literally over 100 things of applesauce, and we had an entire drawer full in our fridge and then like a stockpile in the pantry. And Jake discovered the Mott's stockpile and just started tearing away at it. And he consumes like a ridiculous amount of Mott's every time we print. Every time he comes over, it's like at least 10 cups of applesauce a day. And Sam and I just cheer him on and see how long he can go for, you know. And it's really exciting. It adds a whole new aspect to the printing process that we never thought we'd find, you know. So thank you, Mott's. Thank you.
Ben needs to get more mods, really just because of me. Also, when I make original designs, I am my target audience. That is all. Okay, I got that on camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that one. Alright, so Sam, what are you doing?
I'm buying us a T-square
Why?
so we can make sure our designs are straight on the screen and then make sure our screens are straight on the shirts. I'm irritated. It's too late. It's taking us too long. What are you gonna do, Jake? What are we gonna do? Whenever we're all hanging out working on an order, even if we're all stressed because we don't have very long to get the order done, it can be a lot of fun just hanging out with Jake and Ben, or whenever Jared was in it, hanging out with Jake and Jared. We just have a blast, you know, being around each other and working on the shirts, so that's definitely my favorite part.
So we've been out here for like 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Well, 30 minutes trying to get the screens to work. We've been out here longer printing. Right now we're just trying to get the screens to line up, because that's always frustrating when the designs don't line up on the shirts. It just looks all off-center and tacky, and it's just not good.
Right. What's your method been so far? Just eyeballing it and
I've been,
trying to move it?
I'm doing a very minute change this time and hoping it will take effect in the utes. Still looks a little crooked to me.
Really? Oh, what is that?
Oh, I don't know what that is. So many problems with this order right now. Could just be...
Also, the plastisol headache is setting in.
Hold on, I don't know if we're ready yet.
Okay.
I may have to adjust. I may have to adjudicate the situation.
And I will corrobate your adjudication.
Excuse me, sir, but if this is a corrobation, I believe it requires strippers. Hashtag pimp my shark.
Does that look straight?
Straighter.
The back definitely looks like the right height. And you move that up, right?
Yeah,
so that
I did
looks,
move it up.
That looks good.
But it still
Keep the height
ain't
the
be
same.
straight.
Really?
It's not perfect. I'm gonna try and adjust it a ever so slight amount.
Wait, did you fix it? Out the issue that I'm so.
Yeah, that is satisfying. Yeah, if you can tighten them, I'll tell you when.
I guess I'll probably need a wrench.
Where we want it.
Maybe not. Maybe yes.
I mean, honestly, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like,
Alright.
there. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see the side.
Yeah, I know, but this one it's not quite loose enough to move by hand.
The problem ended up being these small plastic bolts that are meant to wear away so that they don't damage the arm when they hold it in place. And all we had to do was readjust them so that it held the screen in line. And once we did that, production went by so smooth and fast that it really took me by surprise when we finished. And it just felt really good being able to solve the problem, get the order done.
Well,
About
I'm just
most
happy that we're
things
at
in
least
life.
making progress now.
Yeah, at least now we're not messing with test shirts.
Yeah, we're not fuddling about like a bunch of daft ninnies stuck in their own
Watch
playpen. It's just enough to get the Senya class going! I can't remember the girl's name.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. I'm gonna clean this in like a day or two. I'm just gonna make sure the ink's out of the actual holes, and then I'm just gonna leave it.
If we were using water-based ink, it'd be a lot worse because then it would dry out. Yeah, it would dry out immediately. But luckily, we're using plastisol, so we're good. Selfie.
It's a special moment. I always enjoy this set a lot, actually. It's also right next to the salsa, so you can kind of get the shot of the snacks as well.
Snack shot.
Snack shot.
Snack shot.
Alright, I'm gonna put this inside. Take the goldfish too. The best part, hold on. The best part of being in present tense is probably the great times I've had, the fun friends I've made along the way, and the memories that I'm gonna have when I look back on these days, you know? And just all the friends, and you know, we come up to the shop and we're making t-shirts, but we're also making heartfelt memories that we're gonna have for the rest of our lives. And that makes me cry every time. I cry every time we print, so it's really great.
Is that the truth?
No.
I'd like to continue doing present tense, even in college. I don't know how that works, if we do it over the summer or we do it long distance, but I think it's a really fun thing. And I don't want to stop just because we graduate.
It's a little tricky because we're all probably going to go to different colleges, so it's going to be difficult to keep this going, obviously, when we have to meet up so often to print and that sort of thing. The one thing that is an interesting idea to think about is all of us have younger brothers of the same age who could take up the craft, so we have to consider if we're going to pass down the, you know, the whole business or what we're going to do. I'd like to keep it going. I really enjoy it. It's a fun business, and I think we're surprisingly pretty good at it, so I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Let's talk about that.
Nick, what's your favorite part of being in present tense?
That's a tough one. There's so much.
Nick, don't laugh. This is serious.
Whether present tense is dissolved, passed down, or continues onto college, the memories made and the lessons learned here will always be remembered.